Welcome to the Build a Purposeful, Profitable Business Doing What You Absolutely Love podcast, hosted weekly by Ange, your business fairy godmother, professional copywriter, published author and business owner of 20 years. In every episode, Ange will deliver useful bite-sized insights to help you find your voice, position your value, demystify the marketing tech, and run your business on your terms.
Okay, welcome to episode 6. Joining me today, I have Dean Shams, and he is the Executive Presence Coach and Communication Strategist for Nabyula Consulting and Training. So welcome to the program, Dean.
Nice Hi, to have Angela. You. Thank you for having me. So nice.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, now I'm very interested to interview you today because it ties in very nicely to some of my previous episodes where I was talking about the importance of being able to find your message as part of your strategy to growing your business. So, and I know that that's what you're an expert in. That's one of the things you train people to do.
That's right.
So perhaps you can just explain a little bit more about what you do for your clients around that area, first of all.
My background is in public relations or PR, and what PR does is I help my clients get featured in the media. That means when you see people getting interviewed, for newspaper, TV, radio, magazine, whichever, there is a PR person that's pitching that story to the journalist. So I'm that person. Now, what comes with it is that my client needs to know exactly what to say, how to say it, and what not to say. Now, the problem is that when over the years, so I've been doing this since 2005, that is about 15 years.
Yeah.
I started to notice a pattern in all my clients is that they are really good at what they do, but they simply cannot express what they do in a way that people who are not in that field will understand. So basically, they always come across as the expert, but because they're expert, it's too confusing and too complex. So this is where I realized that is a big problem for a lot of business owners, and they need help. So as part of my PR process, I actually ended up coaching them. Actually, PR doesn't involve coaching, but because I have coaching skills, so I ended up coaching them. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's a very common problem. It's like when you go to business owners and say, what do you do? And then you think, oh my God, I've been in business for 15 years and I can't answer that question.
That's right. And what the funniest part of it all is that after I understand their business, which is the first meeting that I do with them, I end up being able to express that question better than themselves, who have been doing it for years and years, right? So they always get stunned. So what's the difference? The difference is I understand. I mean, I'm as an external party, understand and can appreciate what they're doing, but because they are in it, they can be so absorbed into all the complexities of that business that they do.
Yeah.
So they don't see it. Yeah.
They're too close to it, really.
Yeah, too close.
Yeah. Now, actually, it's quite interesting. You mentioned PR, and I think the tendency is for a lot of small business owners to think that they'd never get into the newspapers or they wouldn't get into the press. Can you just clarify that misconception for us?
Okay. So my principle when I do my PR consulting is that you are never too small to get big publicity, right?
Oh.
So a lot of my clients, they are solopreneurs or they're consultants. So a lot of consultants work on their own. They may have supporting teams, but they are the main figure, right? The face of the company. So I have gotten so many of them on good media coverage. So we are talking about Singapore here. So I've gotten them on national media, be it newspaper, TV. And the best part of it is I managed to get them into programs and with a story angle that they never thought they could. For example, I got a psychotrauma coach to go on an investment program in Channel News Asia, which is a business program, right? Okay. So what has psychotrauma got to do with investing? See, so this is where I bring that eye to that business and see different ways of applying. Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. So looking at so once they understand their message, or they're able to speak their message, what advice would you give to business owners around building their brand now, building their presence and amplifying that message?
So it is so important for them to really know their message. I think that you have already covered. But what I notice about a lot of my clients who seems to have a brand message is that they don't own it, right?
Right.
Meaning they are not proud about it. They are still very unsure about it. So if you're internally unsure about your brand message, how do you think they will come across when they are talking about what they do, or maybe they are asked to do a presentation about their services? It always come across as very apologetic. Right. So
Yeah.
I noticed that a lot. So the first step to building your brand and growing your influence is to own your message. So my advice to those who are listening in is, until the day that you are 100% confident, maybe 110% confident of your brand message, don't use it.
Right. Okay,
So
that's good advice.
I'd rather you not have a brand message, so
Right.
and not spoil your image, so to say, than have a very weak message and everybody remembers you for that weak message. Then you have
Right.
extra effort to kind of clean up that.
Or it's something that you can't identify with. So there's something
Yeah.
stopping you from really being confident in it.
Mm.
So yeah, I have a client at the moment that's going through this issue. Is that she doesn't really know what she stands for.
Can I just add in here? I've also kind of reviewed time and again what makes these people, makes these business owners be unsure about it, and it all boils down to two things. Is that one is they tend to do multiple services. So this usually happens with people in the service industry, professional services.
Yeah.
They do multiple services, and then they have, for each service, they might have slightly different target clients.
Yeah.
But until you decide to fix on one singular target persona, target audience,
Yeah.
whatever brand message that comes out of your whatever exercise that you're doing will never be good enough for you. So you always be very, fuzzy about it. So you need to. I've gone through this same process. At some point, I said, okay, I am going to fix this target audience, and that's that.
Right.
Everything
Because the
else,
thing is as well is that people have a fear. It's kind of like a fear of missing out. They think that if they target too narrow, they're not going to get the business. But actually, it's the opposite.
it is the
The more
opposite.
targeted you are, the more people stick. Right? People will remember you.
What they don't realize is that the purpose of having a very focused target audience and which brings you to a very focused brand message, clear brand message, is that people will see you as an expert in a field. You build credibility and you build trust, and trust is transferable, which means once you have trust in a certain area, then people will come to you and ask you to do services for them in a specific area, right? Yeah, because you see, I started off as purely a PR consultant, so just doing media relations, and then because I built the trust, suddenly I have my clients asking me to write articles for them, do copywriting for them, teach them how to communicate, and I didn't set off doing all these things, but because I was only doing that one thing, and I built my name around that one thing. Yeah.
The one thing, right? So it's the same with me. I've been on that journey as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
And what you're so right is that when you're doing several different things, you just can't you can't associate yourself with a particular message because it's not going to translate across everything, right? And then for me, I always resisted targeting at women. I didn't want to just target at women. I just like, no, that's not me. I don't want to do that.
Is that because finally, you become very predictable?
And it's like the same as everybody else, and loads of people doing that kind of stuff as well. But then when I realized, okay, well, it was naturally women that would come to me anyway, most of the time. Then realizing that if I target women, men will also come if they feel that the message resonates with them. So you target on one audience, but you can still ripple through to others as well.
Yeah. Can I just share one of my experience, right? So as I was going through this journey, I expanded my services because of client demands. And then I said, you know what? Why don't I teach people how to write articles, right? So I taught articles. And then suddenly I have people saying, oh, you are the writer guy. And I'm like, but I'm not a writer, you know? So even though I started off with a very clear brand message, it can get fuzzy along the way without us realizing it. So sometimes we need
to think of that one thing.
Realign, yeah.
But if they know you for that one thing and that's what they want, that's okay.
Yeah.
Come to you again. Okay. Anything else you could maybe clear up in terms of some misconceptions that business owners have around building their brand awareness?
Okay. So one thing I can recommend is to not be too focused on what other people, be it in your industry or associated with your industry, are doing. So like let's say you see a lot of people are doing really nice Instagram posts, right? So nowadays even professional services people are doing Instagram posts, and it's really beautiful. But think about it, it takes so much time for you to think about all the nitty-gritty elements that go into bringing out a post. If it is natural for you, go for it, because then you'll be able to execute it naturally without resistance, and you'll be able to do it fast. But if it's difficult for you, then find a tactic or a plan of action that comes naturally to you.
Right.
For example, I'll share my own example. So for the longest time, I had a problem doing videos. That means I sit in front of the camera, share one tip. I think, Angela, you're saying yes. I think something is wrong with all of us. We have so much information and knowledge with us, but when it comes to sitting in front of the camera, you're frozen, right? And is that why you're doing a podcast and not a video? Right?
Yes, I feel so much more comfortable doing it this way, because also I know that I can turn on the microphone at any time. I don't have to do my hair and look good. I'm actually running a video challenge on one of my Facebook groups at the moment. And one of the reasons I started that originally was because I wanted to get the practice.
That's right.
In a safe environment. So I did it for myself, and I'm teaching people how to do it. And then it became more natural for me to do it. So I can do it now. And it's completely different than when, like, 5 years ago. Oh my gosh, you would not even get me in front of it.
Right? For me, I can't. So I've been wanting to do it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I've been wanting to do it for the longest time. I think more than 5 years, but I just couldn't. But you know what's interesting? The interesting thing is, if I'm in front of the camera interviewing someone else, is completely fine for me.
Yes.
So what I did was, and I did it recently, was start a Facebook Live interview session.
Oh, fantastic. Okay.
Yeah, and because I am okay with it, and I've done so many media training for my client over the years, it becomes completely natural to me, and I didn't have to think twice about it. And I'm completely natural in front of the camera. I didn't feel awkward.
Yeah,
it was easy for me, so I just did it, and I've already done 5 sessions, I think, and there's another one coming up, many more coming up. So I'm aiming to have it every week.
Okay.
So let's see how it goes. Yes.
So it's all down to perception and how you feel, right? And somebody told me something once that really stuck with me, and they said that it's not about you; it's about
exactly.
Right? So if you stop making it about you, you've got an obligation to get your message out and help those people that want to hear from you.
So this is where, if I could just add, share this. This is very, very powerful, which I always it's a assessment that I put on my prospective clients for PR. Is this when they come to me and they say, okay, I want to talk about this, I want to talk about that. I always check: is this a self-motivated objective, or is it a cause motivated? Not CAUSE, cause motivated. So I always choose people who are cause motivated because they always have a lot more things to say, and it's always about the message and not about them.
Yes.
And when they go on the media, yes, the ego. So when they go on the media, I just always remember, this is not about you, it's about your cause. And that takes away a lot of the fear, a lot of the worry, nervousness, because they focus on the message. Yeah.
It makes all the difference. It really does.
Absolutely.
What about can you think of like a single success story where you've taken someone from being unknown or in their business to being able to get the publicity that they wanted? Or
so this is very interesting. I'm actually working with that client right now, and I remember her because it's the most recent. I am sure I have done a lot more in the past, but I can't remember off the top of my head now. So she's the psychotrauma coach that I was talking about. So she has been doing it for many, many years. And so she is quite known to referrals because her practice is very effective for healing psychotraumas, right? And then she found me somehow, right, through contact. So I started working with her. And the moment she went on the media, a lot of people started to contact her and started to know her. So then she it was so successful that she asked me to then write a new website for her. So I wrote it in a way. So this is where the new services come in, right? When from a PR, then they asked me to do the web copy. So I wrote the web copy, and she told me for the last 2 years, she has been getting steady stream of clients simply because they say, "Oh, I heard you on the radio. I've seen you on TV or something like that about something to do with the media coverage." And then they went on their website when they are ready, and then they sign up for her program. So really, I wish I could have asked commission from her or something, because she said she really got a lot of revenue from that. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah, it's amazing when you do put yourself out there, how fast things can happen. Actually,
Yeah. Though the whole process of the underlying objective of public relations is not for sales; it's to build a credibility. But when you get credibility, people trust you, right? So they tend to, the objections to buy into your services becomes much less.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, trust is the main thing. Yeah. What about other strategies business owners can use, like, for example, speaking in public? Maybe share what they know. What would you advise there?
So I think for professional services, especially going around and speaking, you don't have to be speaking on stage. Just speaking at associations, at small groups as a start. It is an amazing way. I actually built my brand from speaking.
Right.
So you don't have to be worried about being the most amazing speaker in the room, or you are not a professional. If you're not a professional speaker, people don't expect you to act like a professional speaker. What they want is quality learning outcomes or learning points that you're going to make. So coming back to, it is about your message, not about you. I've also gone to talks where the speaker speaks really bad English, maybe even colloquial Singlish. But I completely enjoyed it because he was very, very honest and very authentic in his messaging. And I really enjoyed it, and I learned a lot from this person, even though his English is not polished at all.
So it's easy. You're learning the knowledge.
Yes.
That's the thing. It's the knowledge to share.
Yeah, we go to seminars not to be impressed by the speaker, but to learn, be impressed by his knowledge, right? Yeah.
Exactly, right. And you touched on an interesting point just there as well, where you talked about he was authentic. And I think that's key as well. And that was something that was stopping me for so long, especially on video, things like that, was And it's like you said earlier as well, don't compare yourself to other people.
Yeah.
Just do what's comfortable for you. And for the longest time, I was comparing myself to others and thinking, well, I can't be like that. I can't speak like that. I can't do that. Right?
I was a victim of that for a long, long time.
Mm.
Yeah, and in some aspects of my business, I still compare. I can't help it. Right? We all can't help it, but we just have to fight over that block.
I think, once you accept, because once I accepted this, be authentic, be you, and there's nobody else that's you.
Yep.
That's your brand, right? Then that sort of gave me permission, if you like, then to say, well, okay, I'm getting myself out there then.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
And it makes a big difference. Yeah. Okay. Anything else you want to add?
Yes, just one more. It just came to my mind. I think what is important, and this could really make a big difference, is opinions. You need to have opinions around your subject matter. This is so important because I have worked with some clients who are supposedly experts in their field. That means they're really good at what they do. Then when I ask them for opinion, because opinion is one of the ways we create story angles, right?
Yeah.
They don't have. It's not that they don't have. It's not that they have nothing to say. It's just that what they say is just parroting what other experts are saying. So it's nothing unique. So you need to have your own perspective on your industry and on the way your clients are doing certain things. So that creates a difference for professional services people.
So you're not the same as everybody else. Yeah. Okay, Dean. So where can we find you? If listeners want to look at what you're doing, where can they find you?
So you can always go to my Facebook, which is usually used for my professional stuff. You can go to my LinkedIn. There's Dean Shams, Shams. So Dean is DEAN. Or you can just email me. It's dean@deanshams.com.
Dean@deanshams.com. Okay. I'll put the links below with the podcast as well. So they can find you on Facebook, Dean Shams, or LinkedIn, Dean Shams, or email you at dean@deanshams.com.
You can't forget that, right? It's so easy.
Okay, well, thank you so much for coming on today. This has been very inspiring, and I think listeners will gain a lot from what they've heard as well from this. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.